The TCP protocol requires that we establish a connection between two devices before they can send data between them. Now, the way that TCP does this is through a process that's known as the three-way handshake. And the way that this works is we use the SYN bit and the ACK bit inside the TCP header to communicate between the two devices where we're at with the session. Now, during the session, as we establish, we set up what's called an initial sequence number, an ISN. So essentially, we see host A and host B that want to talk to each other. What host A is going to do is he's going to send a TCP segment over to host B, and he's going to toggle that little SYN bit inside the TCP header. So the little control flag there says SYN, that's enabled, and he's going to set the initial sequence number, or the ISN, to 100. So this says, I'm going to send you a TCP segment that happens to be 100 bytes with an ISN of 100. So host B receives that. That packet travels across the network. Host B receives it. Host B looks at it, reads it, says, okay, I need to do a couple of things. One, I need to reply back with an ACK. So I'm going to toggle the ACK bit in my response, and I'm ACKing the original SYN that came from host A. I also need to synchronize my initial sequence number. So for the traffic going in my direction, remember, TCP establishes full duplex connectivity. So for this direction, from host B to host A, I need to toggle my SYN control bit so that I synchronize my ISN. My ISN is going to be set to 300, and I'm ACKing that I received the 100 bytes you sent me. Next, I expect to see byte 101 and whatever else you send me. So now that is sent from host B to host A. So host A receives the SYN ACK from host B. It's acknowledged that it's received the first 100 bytes and it's ready for byte 101 on, and it is sequencing 301. So host A now is going to reply back with a control ACK, and that's the final ACK in the three-way handshake. So it's always SYN, SYN ACK, ACK. And it's going to acknowledge that it received 300 and it's ready for 301. And it's going to send the sequence of 101. I'm sending you the next set of data. All right, so we go ahead and send that data, and now we've established that three-way handshake. Now again, our TCP connections are designed so that we are in control of what's happening. And normally, they're going to gracefully terminate when each side is finished. And they'll do that with a bit that is toggled that says, hey, I'm finished. So there's a fin bit that it can be set. And that'll indicate that I'm ready to terminate the session. So we establish in an organized fashion, and we terminate in an organized fashion as well.